All right, first unit of Unit 2, Day 1. We're going to start off with what is a function. You might be able to graph a lot of equations, but not everything is going to be a function. The definition of a function in math: a special relationship where each input, input's my x, has a single output, y. A special relationship where each input has a single output. Now, this is just me. This is what was kind of created a long time ago. This is just a way to kind of keep it in your mind. ... Do not repeat your x, and don't worry about asking why. Let's move on. We're going to go through lots of examples. Once again, a function is where you do not repeat your x. We don't care about y, but we do not repeat the x. X is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. None of those got repeated. So yes, this was a function. I'll look at this table though. 1, 2, 1, I can stop. Because for the x values, my 1s got repeated. So no, this is not a function. Now, I can still graph this. Don't get me wrong. I can still graph these points, but it's not considered a function. -3, 0, 3, 8, -10. Yep, that's a function. Now check this out. My y's got repeated though. I got 8 and an 8 for y. I got 8 and 8. But once again, we don't care about y. If we go back on this, it says, do not repeat your x, and don't worry about asking why. We just need that the input has a single output. So this is okay. Over here, -2, 0, oh, no, look at that. My x repeated. So no, that is not a function. Couple more examples here of these. Let's see, once again, we should know it's x comma y for coordinates. X comma y for coordinates. So here's my x. Okay, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes, this is a function. Look at the x only over here. 4, 4, I can stop there. Even my 5 is repeated, so no, this is not a function. Okay, a little bit more of a different format. You'll probably see these really often on the STAR test. You'll see this on our review and our exam. It's x comma y. Right? So it's x comma y, x comma y, x comma y, x comma y. So I'm only looking at my x values. Instead of a table format, now they're kind of listed out. So -4, 0, 1, 7, 8. Yes, that's a function. -4, 0, 1, 7, -4. Oops. These repeated in the x column. No, not a function. Mapping. So we call mapping diagrams. Each arrow represents an x where it starts at and a y where it ends at. Each arrow represents an x where it starts and a y where it ends. So we care about where it starts at. It starts at 10, it starts at 3, it starts at 4, it starts at 7, it starts at 5. No, nothing got repeated. So yes, this is a function because this arrow represents 10, comma 2. This represents 3, comma 3. 4, comma 8, 7, comma 4, 5, comma 8. And once again, look at your x's. None of your x's got repeated. Now my y's got repeated, but once again, we don't care about y. Just look at the x's. Over here, 10, comma 2, 3, comma 3, 5, comma 4, 5, comma 7. Look at this right there. Right there. Because this represents 5, comma 4 and 5, comma 7. The x's got repeated. So no, this is not a function. When you look at mapping, the first one's the x, the second one's the y. Just like a table, the first one's the x, the second one's the y. Take a look at this now. Let's check. My x values. Here goes an arrow. X is -3, -2. I'm following the arrows. -1, 0, 15, 1, -1, 5, -1. That's a function. Look over here. Again, this is my x, this is my y. All my arrows. -3, -2, -1, 0, 3, 1, negative. I'm so sorry. I put a -0 right there. Ignore that. Ignore that. Oops. And then, so I just did 1, 0, and I have 1, 15. My x is repeated. There's an issue right there. So no, that's not a function. Graphing. Now you can write all the points out, but we don't need to do that. When we call graphing, we look at a VLT, which stands for a vertical line test. Vertical line test, that if I take a ruler or a pencil or a pen, whatever, and I create a vertical line along the graph, my ruler and my graph shown can only touch one time at a time. So if I touch it here, my graph and my ruler touch one time. One time. One time. What that means is, like, look over here. If I hold the graph here, it touches twice. Once here and once here. So that's why it's not a function. But over here, it's once, 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 once. Yes, it passes the vertical line test. We good. Over here, at the very edge, it touches one time. But it doesn't matter. All you got to do is prove it wrong one time. It touches twice. It touches twice. It touches twice. It touches twice. This is not a function. It does not pass the vertical line test. Okay. Look at the curvy. It doesn't really matter. You draw an elephant, whatever. One time. One time. One time. One time. Sure, that's a function. Look at a circle. Bam. Twice. That's not a function. A little swervy at the speed bump. One time. One time. One time. One time. One time. Yep, okay, that's a function. But check this out. Yeah, it's one time here. Oh, right there. One time there. It's one time there. One time there. But you only got to prove it wrong one time. Look at right here. Rule's kind of tough. It touches it once, twice, 3, 4 times. Definitely not a function. Does not pass the vertical line test.